Hello everybody, welcome to the Why You're Dieting and Still Getting Fat webinar. It's your host here, Sarah Sunderland, and just before we start I want to make sure you can all hear me. If you can just type in the chat box that you can before we get started. It should be in the right hand corner. Let's just see. Yep, cool. So everyone can hear me. Cool. Alrighty, so firstly I'd like to congratulate you all for being here today. I know how hard it is sometimes to truly commit to attend something like this, even though the intention is there when you register, but to actually follow through and attend is amazing. You've taken the time out of your busy schedule to invest in yourself and learn how to improve your health and fitness and gain more knowledge on how to look after yourself better, and I just think that in itself is fabulous. So really just try to fully immerse yourself into this webinar and commit to being fully present by firstly turning off your phone, making sure that your Facebook and your email notifications are off, and just allow yourself to not be distracted for this full presentation. I just really want you to understand the information and knowledge I'm about to share, so just try to be really present. So just grab yourself a pen and a paper so you can take notes, and we're going to get started. So what I want you to do first is to grab your piece of paper, or if you haven't got a piece of paper, maybe just have a think about what I'm about to tell you. So I want you to write down what your body goal is. Now, this is not for anyone else to see, it's just for yourself, and I want you to really think about what you truly want, and try to be really honest. So if there was no restrictions, no self-doubt about whether or not you could achieve it, what would you want when it comes to your body? I want you to write down how it also feels to have that dream body as well. So whether that means you feel happy, you feel sexier, you feel super fit, you feel toned, muscular, super energized, whatever that may be, I want you to just list it down on your piece of paper as well. Now, we're really funny, aren't we? I had this exact conversation with a friend the other day, and she rang me up because she was being encouraged to go for a promotion at her work. And all of her other workmates and even the boss were encouraging her to go for the promotion. But so secretly, I know that she really wanted to go for the job, but because she wasn't sure whether or not that she was good enough for it, she kind of downplayed her excitement about it. She was saying things like, yeah, not sure, I'm happy where I am though, or she was just very blasé about it. But we talked on the phone for about an hour just about the job, so I know for sure that she wanted to go for it. But just in case she didn't get it, she wanted to downplay her excitement about it. So I want you to not do that right now. No one's going to see this piece of paper, so I want you to write down exactly what you want and exactly how you want to feel. And I want you to fully allow yourself to want those things because you deserve to feel that way. Now I'm just going to give you about 10 seconds to finish this off in silence and really think about what that is. Now, what I want you to think about is why, up until this point, why haven't you achieved this yet? So what stopped you before from getting this goal? It might be a lack of knowledge, it might be that you're just too lazy, it might be a lack of money. Now, I want you to really look at these excuses that you've written down, or that you're thinking about, or that pops into your mind. And do you think that they truly are valid? Looking at it from afar now, maybe at the time you thought they were, And maybe they really are. You know, sometimes we do go through things and it stops us from, you know, going for things that we want to go for, and that's just life. But if you look at it from afar now, are they truly valid? Because most of the time, all this really means is that your goal does not mean enough to you. I want you to keep this in mind throughout this webinar. Now, a little bit about the person who's behind the screen. I've been in the health and fitness industry for over 6 years now, and I can truly say that I'm passionate about what I do. I eat and breathe health and fitness, and I love to see people transform their lives. But I wasn't always healthy and fit. I used to be a pack-a-day smoker. I would never ever exercise. I would just get puffed just walking around the block, let alone going to the gym. My diet would consist of like hot chip and gravy rolls. I'd drink big cans of Red Bull, and Allen's lollies would get me through the day. I also was very unhappy and very depressed, and didn't have much confidence in myself as well. But I managed to transform my own life, and I loved what changes I was able to make, not just physically, but mentally as well. So I became a lot happier. I was more motivated, and I gained a lot of confidence in myself. So I wanted that for everyone, and I wanted to share my empowered journey, and so my job has allowed me to do that. So I was also nominated for PT of the Year, Anytime Fitness Australia, and I've helped over 1,000 people achieve their health and fitness goals, both online and in person. A little bit about my sports background. Before I went into my party mode, as I'd like to call it, I was a competitive gymnast for 9 years, and I managed to place in every competition I ever went in. I have a big box at home with medals and trophies, but I think this is where my dedication comes from, and my positive mindset to train and stay fit and healthy. I have a really good foundation. It was kind of drummed into me when I was very young. Even though I wasn't always that way, I think the foundation really is there. And I had quite a strict regime with this sport. I would train 5 days a week, and I'd train 2 to 4 hours a day. But it just goes to show that when I quit this sport, all the bad habits were formed, and I just really wasn't taking care of myself. But it just goes to show how much, you know, training and being involved in a sport or exercising can really keep you on track and keep you healthy and happy in other parts of your life as well. So I also dabbled in fitness modelling and competitions. I've placed top 3 in all the competitions that I entered. So I did compete for a little while, but let me tell you something about this process of bodybuilding. My experience is something that has influenced my methods tremendously. Something you may not see when you look at these pictures is you know, you're probably just seeing abs there and, you know, a lean body, but it took a hell of a lot of determination, a lot of hard work and commitment just to achieve the physique. But also what you might not see is the underlying damage that kind of process does to the body, and that it did to myself mentally. And also it really changed my attitude towards food. Preparing for all of these comps required me to diet really strictly in ways you just cannot even imagine. I don't even know how I did the things I did now, because I couldn't do that again. But I was overtraining, doing 2 to 3 hours of exercise per day, because I believed that is what was required to win and also to get the result I wanted. But I was so tired, so angry and hungry all the time. Felt depressed. I had no social life because I always had to think about what I was eating. I was really consumed by the calories I was eating. You may have experienced this when going on a diet before. You just get really consumed by it all, and it's just really not the way to live. you get so consumed that you don't actually see the results that you're actually getting, because all you do is focus on what's not happening, which is such a bad mindset to get into. And it's like a body dysmorphia. Well, it is. It's body dysmorphia. You see something different when you're actually looking in the mirror. But these kind of diets, they really tend to get you into that type of mindset. So this type of fad dieting, which is what I call it, is because that's exactly what it is. It's not maintainable. So you cannot eat chicken and asparagus every meal for a week and expect to be happy. You may be skinny, and you might be skinny in the nick of time, but think about what that does to your insides and also to your mindset. Now, I dieted hard for 16 weeks. No cheat meals on the weekends. I trained 6 days per week, and I was just exhausted. The last 2 weeks, I had completely cut out carbs, which sent me absolutely insane. And all I could think about for the whole 16 weeks was chocolate that I wasn't allowed to have, and burgers, pizza, cake, you name it. I wanted it. It even got so bad that I started a stash of junk food that I wanted to consume after the competition was over. So when I would go shopping for food, I would always go down the junk food aisle, and I'd just buy, different chocolates, packets of chips, or whatever I wanted to eat, and whatever I was dreaming about that day, and getting it ready for when, my competition was over and I didn't have to diet anymore. So when I stepped off stage, the first thing I did was I ate a whole packet of Tim Tams, an entire packet, and it took me about 5 minutes, and I scoffed it down, and it did not even touch the sides. Then I followed with dinner of pizza, wine, and then dessert, which sent me straight to the bathroom because I just made myself sick. I was full on the food I hadn't eaten in months, but I didn't care, because when I got home I started to get into my stash. So I finished the night off with another block of chocolate and another packet of shortbread biscuits. This binging continued for another week, and I ate dessert after every single meal, including breakfast, for a week, and I just could not stop myself. I think I gained 10 kilos just from binging in that week alone. So obviously this is not ideal, but my experience really opened my eyes, and I found myself searching for a better way, a way that you could feel good, fit, and healthy, still look your best without having to eat, like a lettuce diet for the rest of your life, and not having to exercise for 2 hours per day for the rest of your life. So that's what I've done, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So this webinar is for you if you want to lose weight but feel overwhelmed with the amount of knowledge overload that's out there, and you're not really sure what's right for you. You've been able to lose weight before, but you just can't seem to keep it off. You've tried every diet under the sun and still can't seem to lose weight. You're sick of diets that leave you hungry, tired, and lethargic all the time. And you're just really ready to make a change but have no idea where to start. So this class is hopefully going to change the way you view dieting and extreme exercise forever. You'll finally know why you may have been kicking yourself in the foot in the past, wasting your time, energy, and money on things that give you just short-lived results. So today we're talking about real body transformation. The transformations that last for years and years, not just days or weeks. So what I'm going to teach you will get you to start viewing your weight loss and dieting habits in a completely different way. This mental shift is what is going to ensure that you get long-lasting results for good and stop messing with things that just give you a quick and short-lived results. So today I'm going to help you transform your body long-term by showing you why your fad dieting has been working against you for all these years and why it makes it harder for you to lose weight in the long run. The effects dieting has on your body over a long period of time, and how you can get that sexy body you want without ever dieting or starving yourself again. and how to get the results you want for the long term without having to give up that chocolate or pizza. I know a lot of people are a little bit afraid, starting a health kit because they're afraid they have to give up something, but that's not necessarily true. I'll teach you as much as I can in the limited amount of time that we have together today, and then I promise I'll show you how you can take it further and get more information. Now, if you have any questions, I want you to write them in the little questions panel. I think it should be on your left, or it might even be on your right. And we'll have a question and answer session at the end of the webinar. So, there's a reason why you showed up today, and that's because you need more information or you're looking for more knowledge. Diets you may have tried before, or the latest workout craze you've tried may have worked for the short term, but you haven't been able to sustain it. So, like I said before, you name the diet and I've tried it, and nothing has ever worked for me to achieve long-term results better than what I'm about to show you. So when I talk about diets, I'm talking about anything from meal replacement shakes, juice cleanse diet, protein-based diet, soup diet, fat-burning pills, fat-burning powders, eating little to nothing, cutting out carbs. I've done them all. I've even tried the drink a can of Coke and eat broccoli on toast diet. I've tried the meal replacement diet. I've tried the cutting most food groups out diet. The truth of the matter is they just don't work for the long term. I always say to my clients when they come to me asking about this latest craze, I say, okay, can you maintain it for the rest of your life? Now, if the answer is yes, then sure, go ahead, do it. But if the answer is no, then there's your answer. Stop looking for the quick fixes. This is where you're going wrong. In this day and age, everything is instant for us. So we've got instant messaging, instant coffee, fast food. So I think we get a little bit impatient if we don't see results within 2 days. So your body's not something you can really fast track, and you can't cheat this process. If you cheat it here, it's going to catch up to you later. So dieting it just makes you feel so bad. And this is one of the reasons why I don't believe in dieting. It's not really meant to be this hard. Yeah, sure, at the start you make a few changes and your body goes through an adjustment period. It might even detox a little bit, but that's fine. But if you're feeling hungry all the time, angry and moody all the time, so lethargic and tired, lacking motivation, your hormones are going crazy, all you can think about is your diet, what you're eating, and if you're sticking to it, and you become totally obsessed, this is not maintainable. When you're striving for a healthy body and mind, you should feel more energized, happy, motivated, excited about life, enjoying life, not depressed, lacking luster, and lacking energy. Anything that makes you feel that way is a sign that it's not the best for you. Remember what your actual goal is here. If it's to feel like crap but be skinny, then go ahead and eat your lettuce or whatever it is for a couple of months. But if your goal is to transform your body, transform your attitude towards your life and yourself, then you've got to stop keep going for these quick fixes. It's just a trap and it doesn't work. So what happens to your body when you go on a low-calorie diet? So our diet is very important. So food is fuel for the body to function properly, to also nourish the body and to help it to repair. So every macro and micronutrient is required for your body to maintain good health and to function properly. So when you diet and you cut out major food groups, starve, restrict yourself, you're not providing the body with the fuel and nutrients that it needs to function properly. So when you go on a low-calorie diet or a restrictive diet, instead of targeting fat burn, which is what a lot of people think restricting calories does, it actually sends your body into starvation mode, which actually slows down the weight loss process, and it actually prevents the body from burning unwanted fat stores. So let me say it again, going on a really low or restrictive calorie diet will actually send your body into starvation mode, preventing your body from burning unwanted fat stores. Not what you thought was happening, did you? So What is starvation mode exactly? Well, starvation mode is your body's defense mechanism against starvation. Makes sense, right? But if you were to know one thing about your body, it's this. Our bodies are made to survive. So there is so many naturally occurring mechanisms that our bodies have that were made to protect us, right? So it's protecting us and keeping us alive. Starvation mode turns your body into a super efficient system that stores your fat stores for a rainy day, instead of burning them for energy, which is what you want. And instead it starts to break down your muscle tissue to use that as energy instead. Because what happens is your muscle tissue actually breaks down much quicker than your fat stores do. And you've got to remember that, because you aren't always burning fat when you think you are. Now, with this loss of muscle mass, it will actually slow down your metabolic rate, and you can also say goodbye to your nice toned midsection or your toned arms. This process turns you into what I like to call skinny fat. So you may be skinny, but because your muscle mass percentage is actually decreasing due to your body being in a catabolic state, meaning breaking down its own muscle mass or muscle tissue to use it as energy, it also means your body fat percentage is increasing, right? So when one is high, increasing, the other one is decreasing. So when you stop your diet eventually, or you go back to eating normal, how you did before, your metabolism will be even slower than when you started on your diet. You'll also have less muscle mass as well. So what happens is you'll naturally will put on more fat. This is why most people will actually gain more weight after they go through a period of losing weight really quickly due to overtraining and a low-calorie diet, which you might have already experienced before. So our bodies just need time to adjust to the changes like this happening. And this, you don't really want to hear this, but the slower the better, and the more consistent the better. So would you rather lose weight quick and just be slim for a few weeks, or would you prefer to lose weight gradually and keep it off for the rest of your life? Now, I know which one I prefer. So let's say you've tried the latest fad diet, which was like a meal replacement system. There's lots of them out there, and you have to have something like, for example, a shake for breakfast, a salad for lunch, and a shake for dinner. Now, this is a calorie and nutrient deficient diet. This would send your body straight into starvation mode. So you may do this for a couple of months, right, because you can't maintain it. You will go back to the way you used to eat because you just can't maintain it. You're starving to eat actual real food again. And what's happened is you actually haven't made any changes to your lifestyle at all. You've tried to cheat the system by going on these shakes, but unfortunately your body knows, right? You can't cheat the system. Your body knows. Something common I see a lot with my clients is they usually aren't eating enough food in their day-to-day diet. They usually average 2 meals per day, usually skipping breakfast and having the biggest meal of the day at dinner. They also heavily rely on caffeine and sugar to spike their energy levels when they're at a low, which is generally in the morning time and especially that 3 p.m. This is also a prime way to slow down your metabolism and send your body straight into that starvation mode again. You're not eating for energy here. You're eating because you need to fill your tummy, and it's the wrong way to look at it. The reason why you eat the biggest meal at dinner is because you're starving as well. So generally what happens is you rush home and you're starving and you go for the quickest meal, which is generally carbs, right? Pasta takes 2 minutes to cook. So what generally happens with these fad diets is that you usually go from 0 to 100 straight away, and you go fully restrictive. So you go from eating, regularly, however you usually have, however you have for years, and you just go fully restrictive and you cut all these things out, or you replace food with shakes or whatever it is. What happens in the end is you end up binging, like I did at the start. right? And I don't know about you, but as soon as someone tells me I can't eat something or I can't do something, that's all I think about. And I think about it non-stop, and I want it all the time. We always want what we can't have. So you restrict yourself for a month of just purely drinking detox juices and eating just lettuce and salad or something all day, every day. Guess what you're going to start to think about? Everything you can't have. Cakes, pizza, carbs. This is exactly why you start to binge while you're on the diet. You cheat, or you binge on all the things you couldn't eat when the diet's over. And on the other side of the coin, you're missing out on vital macronutrients when you're dieting like this. When your body's also undernourished due to dieting, which is also known as diet as malnutrition, this can actually make you crave more food. So remember what I said earlier about our bodies need to survive. It's like it's an instinctual kind of thing. So if you're not eating food that is nutritiously dense, it will only satisfy the appetite momentarily. And what happens is your body will continue to send signals to the brain that it needs more nourishment because you're not nourishing your body, which actually makes you want to eat more food. So it actually makes you feel hungrier. You've just got to stop this yo-yoing. So it's not good for your body. You need to get back to the basics and start nourishing your body with foods that are nutritiously dense, and that's what your body wants. That's how your body performs, at its best, and it will function properly as well. So let me put this another way for you. So I want you to think about your dream car. So think about how it smells, how shiny and brand new it is, how comfortable the seats are, how fast it goes, how your hair blows through the wind when the top's down. You just love this car. And now I want you to think about how much you've actually paid for this car. So how much it's worth, how long you've saved for. You've saved your whole life to buy this car, and you've finally got it. You've got the keys in your hands. But they've also told you that this is the last car that you will ever have for the rest of your life. Forever. This is the only car you're allowed to have, the last one. So you're in your new car and the fuel light's on. So you pull into the nearest fuel station, and because you know what happens if you just keep driving and there's no fuel in the car, I've done that a couple of times. So you pull up to the Bowser and you get out. Now, which type of fuel do you put in your car? Do you put the cheap ethanol one that'll clog up your engine, apparently, so I've been told? Or do you use the premium stuff, specifically designed to run your car smoothly and efficiently? So I'm pretty sure I know what your answer is. I hope I know what your answer is. So why is it that you would never allow your car to go empty on fuel, but yet you would quite easily let your body go without fuel? You may even go as far as putting the crappy ethanol, meaning junk food, into your body too. So why do we take more care of our cars than what we do our bodies? Why does it make more sense to fill up the car when the fuel light goes on, but not listen to your body when it's telling you, I'm hungry? Your body needs fuel to function. Full stop. Think about what happens to this car if the fuel light went on and we just kept driving. Eventually it would just break down. Something else to think about is that we've only got one body. That's it. What you're in right now, this is all we've got. All we've got. So the stupid diet pills, meal replacement shakes, fat burning powders, artificial low calorie, plastic looking crappy food is all like putting water in your fuel tank. Our body is not meant to consume that stuff. It's not made to give us energy. It's also not made to allow our body to function optimally, including the fat burning process. You need to fuel your body with the right things if you want it to function properly. And one of those functions is fat burning. So what are the right things? So you've got your macronutrients, and your micronutrients. So you've got your protein, good fats, and carbohydrates, which should be the basis of your diet, and you've got vitamins and minerals. Nowhere in there is there any calorie counting. You've got to get off that. You've got to get off the whole, I count calories. How many calories are in this. This is the basis of your nutrition. And today we're going to just focus on the macronutrients and some examples. So your basic protein sources, chicken, turkey, lean pork, loin, white fish, salmon, trout and tuna, eggs, red meat, dairy if you're not intolerant to it. You've got your good fats, nuts, avocado, olive oil. Now olive oil is only good when it's cold or when it's below a certain temperature. Olive oil actually has quite a high burning temperature, which actually turns it into a trans fat, which is a bad fat, and it defeats the purpose of having olive oil. So if you're going to cook, the best oil to cook with is coconut oil, because it has a higher burning temperature and it has all the beneficial properties to it as well. You can also cook with butter. Also the flaxseed oil. Now some of these cross over as well, but this is the list that I've got is the main part of what they're made up of. You've also got your carbohydrates, you've got your starchy carbs and your fibrous carbs. Now, brown is always better than white when it comes to rice, pasta, bread, and everything like that. Now, I don't know whether you've ever, or you can remember the Clag paste, the Clag glue, if anyone's ever heard of it. Now, Clag glue is used, I remember using it at school. We would make a paper mache, so you'd get a balloon and you'd rip up bits of newspaper and you would place it over the balloon and you'd use this Clag glue to glue it all together, like paste it together. And the Clag glue is like a thick white paste. It's just really, really thick. But when it dries, it dries and the newspaper actually turns really hard. Now, the main ingredients of Clag glue, again, is water and flour. Now, when you've got your white bread, the main ingredients of white bread is water and flour. So the same thing which happens to the Clag glue, the same process actually happens in your body as well. So if you can, you want to get back to the brown, keep everything brown. If that's one thing you can take away from today, you've got to get everything brown. Now, so these are the basis of your nutrition, right? And nowhere does it say fake, preservative, based ingredients. So you just got to get back to the basics. Don't make it harder than what it is. Anything that's wrapped up in a colourful packaging, just stay clear of. Now, the ways to prevent starvation mode is to eat and snack regularly every 2 to 3 hours and have your snacks and your meals made up of those macronutrients. You've got to make sure you don't skip meals, especially breakfast. And coffee is not counted as a meal. I don't know how many times people say, yeah, but I had a coffee. It's not counted as a meal. Of course, it makes you feel full and it's a pick-me-up, but it's not real energy. I call it fake energy. So you want to get your energy from food, not from coffee. Don't overdo the cardio. And you've got to eat according to your body type, and you've got to include protein in all meals if you can. Now, to fire up the metabolism, you've got to think of your metabolism like it's a fire. You can't just chuck a huge log on the fire and expect it to burn all night, can you? It will go out for sure. You need to continuously add smaller pieces of wood to it, and it will continue to burn that way. Your metabolism is much the same as that. So if you eat a huge meal, in the middle of the day, you're just going to put your metabolism out, right? The fire is going to go out. But if you keep eating small meals and snacks throughout the day, it'll actually keep your metabolism fired up and going. So there's a lot of different ways to fire up your metabolism, and we've just covered a few here. So obviously eating regularly, which we already covered. Exercise will boost your metabolism. When you increase your muscle mass, that will fire up your metabolism. Drinking more water, and also eating actual food. So when you eat actual food compared to your shakes, actual food it needs to be digested, and when your food is when you're digesting your food, it actually burns calories. But when you drink a shake, it actually digests within 20 minutes generally, right? Because it's kind of already digested for you. So just remember that, you want to eat actual food as well. You just think about how you feel after you eat a big steak. Steaks take a long time to digest. Think about how that feels in your stomach compared to like a protein shake or something. So now I want you to meet or have a look at Rolfan. So Rolfan lost over 30 kilos and has maintained his weight loss. Now, his weight loss was quite consistent over losing that 30 kilos, and it wasn't drastic from week to week. When he first started on his weight loss journey, of course, there was a higher amount of weight loss because he had a fair amount to lose. But after a month, it kind of goes to like a bit of the weight loss kind of dies down a little bit. So you just want to be consistent and not drastic from week to week. So he's been able to maintain it because we really focused on forming permanent good habits, not starving himself and not overtraining tactics. We just, we didn't want to try to get the weight off as quickly as possible. We were just concentrating on getting it off and getting him fit and healthy again. Now, because we also did it gradually as well, we made sure that he had minimal loose skin, which I know is sometimes a bit of a concern for some people when they lose weight. And let me tell you something, if you lose weight too quickly, you will increase your chances of loose skin and stretch marks as well. So you just got to remember that the slower the better in the weight loss game, and it always is better, always better. And you actually form really good habits that you can maintain too, which is very important. Jackie's transformation. This is what I love about health and fitness. This not only changed her body, but her whole mindset and the way that she started to feel about herself, and the way she viewed exercise and the way she viewed food really changed. And if you can get a good attitude towards exercise and eating to the point where you actually start to enjoy it, this is where you'll be able to keep it up for a lifetime. You really want to get to that point where you don't feel good unless you train, or you don't feel good unless you eat healthy. But that's signs of permanent change, and it's really about changing your entire lifestyle that will allow you to have a permanent change rather than focusing on just getting the numbers off the scales. All the dieting, watching calories and watching the scales, all it does, it makes you obsessed and depressed. So the journey should really start to feel good at some stage. It shouldn't feel like you're always missing out. And the thing is about weight loss is when you obsess about it and when you're really focused on it, like focused on the scales, it's funny, but nothing kind of happens. That stress actually releases a hormone which actually stops your body from burning fat. It's funny. Our body's a funny thing, but when you start to relax and you just focus on feeling good, if you just focus on feeling good, focus on being healthier rather than the scales, it'll actually just melt away. And I just hate the scales, PS. You need to really throw those bugs out. They're not, they don't show much at all. And then you've got Mel. So Mel's quite little. I mean, she's a small girl, but what you can see, I wanted to show you in this picture, is that she went from skinny fat. Now on the left you can see she's skinny fat, so she's skinny, but her body fat percentage is quite high. You can see because she actually didn't have a lot of muscle tone. It's because she was eating the wrong things, and she was letting her body continuously go into starvation mode on a regular basis. So basically her body was breaking down any muscle tissue she had and using that as energy because she just wasn't eating regularly enough. And she'd also rely on a lot of sugar and caffeine hits like Coke to keep her energy levels up during the day as well. So with a few adjustments to her lifestyle, she gained some lean muscle mass, which also increased the appearance of muscle tone, as you can see in the left picture compared to the right, and it also decreased her body fat as well. So making a change that's long-lasting, it requires 5 vital segments that you need to add to your regime, and some of them may surprise you that the way I've listed them in order of importance. So most people purely focus on the exercise component, and usually they're doing the wrong type of exercise for their goal as well. But unfortunately, exercise is only a very small percentage of what will actually give you the result in the end. All of these areas require attention in order for you to achieve the result you desire and to maintain that result. When you also focus on making changes to all of the above, you'll be amazed at how amazing you'll start to feel, not just physically, but in life in general. That's one of the things that I really love about health and fitness, is that even though your body starts to change physically, the mental changes that occur can really be life-changing. Now, obviously today we covered a little bit of nutrition, but at the top you've got mindset, nutrition, stress management is a big one, lifestyle factors, and exercise. Now, I want you to go back and I want you to think about your goal, the one that you wrote down at the start. And think about, is there something you've learned today that has made you realize something about your previous attempts at this goal and why you might not have now achieved it before? And do you currently feel a little bit more motivated to give it another try? So what are you guys going to do with this information I've shared with you today? You've made the effort to show up, and you've listened. I mean, look, you're still here. You're still listening to the class. You haven't tapped out. But what steps are you going to take right now to implement some of the things that you've learned? Because there's no point in showing up and being here for an hour but not actually implementing what you've learned here. So something I always do is, as soon as I learn something, I either implement it straight away, I teach it to someone else right away, or I make plans right away to put the steps in place to integrate it into my life. Don't make this big commitment to be here today and then put everything you've learned off until another day. Because you know exactly what I'm about to say, tomorrow never comes. You'll just keep putting it off and you'll just forget about what you've learned today.